So, let's now take this forward. We've already had Bruce talking about the Welsh Government. Let's now hear from the Welsh Government. He did only say nice things, I may add. Let's now talk about what can make a real difference. This is where you have policy, you have ideas, you have energy, and it all comes together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome the Minister for Business, Enterprise, Technology and Science, Edwina Hart.
Thank you very much indeed, Sarah. And obviously, I'm delighted to be here today at the inaugural conference for entrepreneurs in Wales, because the flagship event, the Global Entrepreneurship in Wales, we're encouraging about 400 entrepreneurs in attendance here and events all across Wales. But I happened to bump into another friend of mine as I was here in the building, Sir Terry Matthews. And I said to Terry, I'm going to make a speech. He said, come and say a few words. Can we welcome Terry to the platform?
I spent all day this week opening up the Entrepreneur Global event in Swansea University and had a terrific day meeting all kinds of entrepreneurs and speaking to a packed hall of budding entrepreneurs, spending a lot of time talking a little bit about my experiences and the sort of things I've done in life. And I guess you can always consider me a risk taker. I do take risks. I mean, I'll drive fast, maybe sometimes occasionally a little bit above the speed limit, but never overtake on a blind corner. That would be totally dumb. But I do take risks in my life. The first company I started was with about £2,000 in 1972. And I took an attitude in that because £2,000 doesn't pay any salaries and buys very little. And I worked with new graduates, just a few, and I didn't have enough money to pay them. But I learned a very important lesson, the lesson of sharing and goodwill. So those new graduates had stock options at $1 each in a company that was just forming. But here's the irony, that ownership, the alignment of interest. And I did something else. I talked to clients first before we developed anything. So it's always good in life if there's a potential client that tells you what they want. Because if you deliver it, they'll buy it. And by literally working around the clock with new graduates, these are people that had alignment of interest, had ownership. You see no longer the situation of you work, you get paid, it's netted out. Ownership was the alignment. They work 7 days a week. Now, you might find that that's difficult to appreciate. 7 days a week. Why would they do that? Well, they're not married, they have no children, they have no mortgage, live with their parents. They can actually live on virtually nothing. But that alignment of interest, that ownership, drove them to work with me 7 days a week. We delivered the products that the client said they wanted in about 4 to 5 months by working 7 days a week. And boom, up the company came. Now here's the interesting part of that. Remember those $1 share options? 10 years later, we had a public company. They were worth $2.5 million each. That created more millionaires than you would ever believe. Hard work ethic, driven by a demand-driven environment where the clients say, this is what we want, and you deliver it. What an unbelievable formula. I just want you to know, new grads. Now, I've done that same kind of thing over 90 times from scratch. It's like having a little chemistry set that you put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, boom, up it comes. Sometimes it's explosive. But the fact is the growth in some of these companies. So in my career, it's now 91. I create about 4 new companies with new graduates every year. And I think at a kind of high level, often at a higher level than most, before I drill down and do something and take risks. So what do I now think about? Well, you see, think about the young people coming out of universities and colleges. If they are not the next generation of business people, we have no future. So I encourage everyone in the audience here, remember the next generation. Help them to learn. Help them to become the next generation of business people. And you'd be surprised what can happen in your society. It's companies that employ people. It's companies that employ people and pass on knowledge of a particular technology or a market or whatever. Think about the next generation. And why do I do it all the time? I could have retired 30 years ago without any problem at all, very wealthy, but I'm a passionate business person. I enjoy business. I love the ups and downs and fighting around the planet, globally selling stuff, globally marketing stuff. I love that. I get terrific kicks out of that. I get terrific kicks out of helping this next generation become business people. The new graduates may be well educated, but they never had to deal with auditors. They never had to deal with solicitors and lawyers. They never had to deal with bankers. God knows I still don't know how to deal with those bankers. But then on top of that, they never had to deal with consultants and advisors and boards of directors and governments. They never had to stand up and present a company. They never had to stand up, present a product, because they don't teach in universities how to sell. That's not like an easy thing. So these are things they have to learn. Now, when they work with me, they come out a year later battle-hardened. They can take anyone on. I don't care at any level. And I'm damned if I'm going to stand by and have my children and grandchildren work at a cash desk selling Chinese products. I want them to be business people. I want them to be entrepreneurs. I want them to fight. So I advise you, work with me, take a risk, drive next generation of business, and by the way, have some fun doing it. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's quite nice to have somebody to do a job for you, isn't it, in terms of making some comments. But can I say, obviously, Julie and Bruce have also set a very positive tone for the conference today, and I'm sure will provide inspiration and motivation to drive the entrepreneurial activity forward in Wales. We do have an important role to play working together for the Welsh economy, and this conference, I believe, is a good example of the private and public sector working together to achieve this goal. The conference programme has been designed with the support of entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, and I am delighted that it has proved so successful in attracting so many delegates. The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor Report 2011 stated that an early stage entrepreneurial activity in Wales for 2011 was 8.1%, which was higher than the UK average of 7.6%. It is important that we embrace entrepreneurial activity and encourage more people to start up a business and provide that support and environment for business owners to grow their businesses. Encouragingly, the early stage entrepreneurship activity rate of young adults of 18 to 29 continued to rise in 2011, and the early stage entrepreneurial activity rate amongst this age group has almost tripled in Wales, from a low really of 3.4% in 2002 to 9.7% in 2011. School children today are also interested in business, to start their own businesses and being entrepreneurs. And young people today have higher aspirations, I believe, to work for themselves and to be their own boss. And it's important we encourage this. I'm very privileged as Minister to go to a number of events involving quite young children in terms of developing entrepreneurship skills in the primary school sector in my own patch in Swansea. I went to see the developments in a Graig Felin in the school where a little boy that won decided to sell eggs from his father's firm in order that he could get himself a new bike. But it was actually wonderful. He was so surprised then, and of course his prize was a new bike. And he was only about 9, and he started to do the business, selling it to people who come into the school to actually on baking classes. So he made quite a nice little earner. And then we had another school in Pontllew that decided to raise money and the gifts that they produce for Christmas fairs and everything. Now that type of activity at that very early age, I think, is absolutely key. And that means there's been quite a cultural change in Wales that we talk now this, and we're so excited about this activity because we have to recognise that young entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs and business units are the heart and soul of the Welsh economy, and they are key to, I think, believe our future success. That's why I've appointed 7 inspirational entrepreneurs as business entrepreneurship champions, and I can see some in the audience now, and who have built hugely successful companies up in Wales, and they're providing me with very practical guidance on entrepreneurship policy, as well as proactively promoting entrepreneurship across Wales. I think it's very important as a government that we use external people to help and advise us and to deliver our policy agenda. Because in order to encourage and support entrepreneurs in Wales, we need these champions, because people can see what they've done, see what businesses they run. They can also share with them the experiences they've gone to, rather like Terry says, what is your experience of accountants? What's your experience of auditors? What is your experience? They've been through all of that, and they can help and assist. This month, the Welsh Government Business Startup Programme, which started in July 2008, achieved a major milestone with the creation of over 10,000 jobs, and that's quite important. These jobs are linked to the new enterprises created across Wales, which number 4,350, and by June 15, we're forecasting a further 13,000 jobs and 5,000 enterprises will have been created, and I think that's good news and good numbers. But supporting those wishing to start and grow business is still a priority. Many of you here will know that we established a micro-business task and finish group, which recommended 5 key priorities for the government to focus on micro-business support. There was obviously access and awareness to business support, which we have to deal with, access to finance, which we all know is still a big issue, developing and mentoring and coaching advice, improving public service procurement, which I think the McClellan report has helped to assist, and reducing, of course, the regulatory burden, because we do need to look at the regulatory burden. There's obviously the European Union, there's obviously the UK government, but also what do we do in Wales and what we can do better. And as a result, I recently announced the launching of a mentoring service for small and medium-sized enterprises in Wales, and Business Wales one-stop shops will be operational in January 2013, and I hope they will be successful in helping businesses to grow. The report also recommended that businesses needed to access finance, and we've established a £6 million micro-business loan fund, which we hope will support at least 300 new businesses. Significant support for small, medium and micro businesses has also been announced with the SME Investment Fund, which is a £40 million fund, which we launched by the Welsh Government, which Finance Wales operated for us, and we've opened for applications across Wales since March 2012. We hope to create 4,000 jobs as a result of this fund. It complements the existing £150 million European-backed Wales Jeremy Fund, which was one of the most successful funds of its kind in the UK. But the new Wales SME Fund will provide, I believe, an even wider range of SMEs with access to finance they need. We've also targeted growth sectors with additional funds. Life science, which we announced in March this year. This £100 million fund will make Wales even more attractive location for sciences R&D and a better place, I think, to grow the life science sector. And I'm also pleased to see that this event is really targeting the entrepreneurs. As a Welsh Government, we are fully committed to this policy because we want to champion you and cherish you to make sure you do good business in Wales and employ people. So encouraging you is what we need to do. I do hope this conference will provide you with creative and innovative solutions to real business challenges, and there's no better way than learning from people who have faced these challenges and run successful businesses. I take this opportunity as well to extend my gratitude for the tremendous support we've had from some of the UK's most successful entrepreneurs who've given up their time to support this event. It's good to see this event being held in Wales. It's good that it's a part of a week-long activities across Wales. Terry's speaking about his experiences in Swansea. It's important we understand what entrepreneurs are about, what they can do for the economy and country, and as a government we are proactive in our dealings with them. So I hope that you're a very, very good day here. I hope you enjoyed the surprise guest as well. So I think I should have a round of applause, but you're really applauding him if you feel better about doing that. Diolch yn fawr.